Hello, my name's Adam.
And I'm Josh.
This is episode 2, and we're going to be focusing on the importance of websites for your local business. So, why a website matters for your local business. So, now the fun websites are super important nowadays. The majority of individuals, people on the earth have mobile devices, which are smartphones, which therefore means they can visit the internet, and a lot of people, almost some would say 80% of people will refer to a company's website in order to make their purchasing decision. Ultimately, a website does help an organization attain that legitimacy of their business. Because if you think about it, I guess, Josh, when you see a company's websites, let's say I don't know, my tire I got a puncture in my tire and I need to visit a local mechanics or a tire repair shop. Even recently I looked on their websites for local businesses around me that did tire repairs or mechanics, and it's one of those daunting things that I know a lot of people don't like going to mechanics because you never know, because you're not an expert in the field, so you kind of want to know that A, they're going to be friendly, B, they know what they're doing, so that's the legitimacy part. Their prices as well, so that's another element that a website will provide. Is sometimes, not all businesses will provide their price, their prices of their services and products, but and also reviews. So having testimonials on your website, for example, that provides the legitimacy as well. But if I go back to the example of my tyre becoming punctured, obviously in the UK, especially in London, I don't know about you, Josh, but there are so many potholes nowadays that my car is relatively new and had to get that repaired. But as I say, I went on to I typed in Google local businesses, tyre repairs. Those are my keywords that I typed in, and I went on this company's website and I saw that they were fairly local, A, and B, they seem to be going for a long time. So they were established a decade ago. Their website showed that the sole thing they did was tyre repairs, which again gave me the confidence that they knew what they were doing, and it hopefully wouldn't have been a long wait where people were. I know the mechanics won't be changing people's clutches and giving them a whole new engine. It was a kind of in and out job. So obviously time is money nowadays, and we've all got to be somewhere fast. So again, it was that the website gave me the confidence that that business knew what they were doing. So that's the kind of legitimacy element. I don't know if you kind of, Josh, had any kind of thoughts on the legitimacy element and the importance of a website there?
So the design and feel of a website also plays into this. If you have a modern looking site that looks good, it's mobile friendly, that loads fast, that all plays into the same things you're talking about there. If you have a website, if that tire company had a website that was built in 1990 and it was not mobile friendly, super slow, you would have felt this company's not modern, they're not up to date with the latest things, they're not going to do a good job on my tires. So yeah, I'll just add that.
Absolutely, you've got me nodding my head there. I completely agree. If their website was had clip arts, I don't know if those old enough. Clip art was a very old school kind of way of providing text, but it was in some wacky fonts and stuff. But if it was an outdated website or they didn't have a website, I'd be worried. Yes, I would probably look at their Google reviews, no doubt, but that website gave me the confidence. So look, if I go back to the original point I was making, it's super important. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody visits websites. 80%, the majority of people will visit a company's website before making a purchase decision to ensure that they feel that they are giving their money to a legitimate business. They are going to get a good product or service. They understand that the service they're providing is appropriate for the consumer's needs. The pricing is aligned to what their expectations are. So, not going to be too much too high or too low, or maybe too low isn't really one of the main factors, if you know. But you get the gist of my point there, and also reviews, so testimonials, etc. So the kind of what other reasons should a local business have a website? Well, in summary, it's the digital front door for your business, right? Nowadays, when you're walking down the high street, not every business will have a physical unit for their business. The majority of businesses may only be run online. If we think of car insurance, for example, which is a random example that came to my head, you don't tend to go into to your high street and knock on a door to get car insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will go online, typically a comparison website, or you might want to go direct to that key phrase, that direct line. You can only go direct to them, for example. So that's a specific example whereby a website is the fundamental gatekeeper or front door for your business. Any other immediate kind of things you can think about as to why a website is important for a local business?
I suppose it's the centre of all your marketing as well. So even if you are doing some more old school marketing, handing out flyers in the yellow pages, whatever it may be, you're always pointing people back to your website, and the role of your website is to showcase your work in the best possible light and then convert those people into business.
Completely agree. And look, ultimately, if you are, if we kind of take it back to a very local, a local purview, if you like, I recently designed a website for a festival for a local community, in East Sussex, a very kind of small village in East Sussex. They have a festival every year. And that was their way of communicating their annual festival. If people wanted to buy a pitch at that park, because it's a kind of park event, if you like, think of Glastonbury, but on a very, very small scale. The website was their way of communicating the date, if the date had changed every year, the various stalls there were going to be, advertisements, if people wanted to buy a kind of a stall there, as I said, etc., etc. So again, connecting local communities, being able to advertise to your local community as a local business as well. So look, it's super important if you want to drive sales to your business. Ultimately, do you need a website to succeed? One could argue, depending on the type of business you had, yes. Again, if you were very physical, if you were mechanics, for example, is it essential? Maybe not essential. You would still be able to operate without a website. For example, my uncle had his mechanics for about 30, 40 years before he hit me up and said, hey son, I need my online presence to kind of to help me out here, because my competitors are doing better than I am, right? Obviously, he was very old school and didn't even understand the internet. So, look, again, it is increasingly important. And if you don't have a website and you want more sales and increase your revenue even more, then great as well. So those are my final words. And I'm gonna, Josh, I know you're going to give a little snippet of what's to come in the next kind of episode as well. And so over to you for closing remarks.
Sure. So what I'm going to speak about now shortly is about the best practices for effective design and how that influences SEO too. There are a few things to consider when you're designing your website. And not only do you want it to look great, you also want it to perform really well in Google, and you also want people to convert into sales once they land on your website. So you need to consider what are called conversion rate optimization best practices. So if you're a local business, if you're a mechanic, most people looking for a mechanic probably want to find a phone number and phone that business. loads of businesses I've worked with in the past, they've not even had a phone number on their website, and it's kind of crazy. So,
Wow.
A fundamental best practice for your design is put a big phone number in the top right corner of your website, make it large, maybe add your opening hours underneath it. So that's just one super simple design best practice that also helps your conversion rate. And also, if you use a local number rather than a mobile number or a free phone number, Google prefers that for local SEO. So if you're based in South London, use a South London number. If you're based in Manchester, use a Manchester number, and that's going to benefit your SEO too. But yeah, I'm going to go into more detail on these SEO related design best practices in the next episode, where we're focusing more on local SEO.
Amazing. Josh already dropping some gems there. Amazing. Okay, well, look, thank you for joining us for episode 1. We hope you enjoyed it. As I said, please give us a follow. If you enjoyed this, feel free to drop us an email if you had any ideas for our next few episodes. But episode 2 is as what Josh has just described. So join us then. Thank you.